Coming up on the Lakeside Loop, students and teachers battle it out for the intramural championship. Lakeside starts its own trap shooting team. Grandparents have a great time on Grandparents' Day, and students head up to New Ulm for the Wells Band Fest. The Loop starts now. Welcome back to the Lakeside Loop. I'm Natalie Pop.
And I'm John Loest. Last Wednesday was Grandparents' Day for our sophomores and seniors. The grandparents of these two classes were invited to visit Lakeside in the morning and share some time with their grandchildren.
We had our grandparents come in. They came in around like 8 or earlier. They had a little breakfast. And then right after first period, we got to go meet up with them in the gym. And there was breakfast, there was like donuts and juice and milk and stuff. And then we sat down with them. We had a conversation about what's going on in school. Easy questions like about what they did in high school, what sports, stuff like that. We went over that a little bit. After that, we headed over to chapel and we found a spot and I sat down next to my grandparents. So we listened to chapel, and after chapel, my grandparents personally wanted to go on a tour since we got a new renovation. They went on the tour, and actually when I was in class, my grandparents came into the band room and said hi. And yeah, they really enjoyed their tour, and they told me that they really enjoyed it. And my grandpa actually, he won a prize. He won a plant. It's pretty cool. I really love my grandparents, and I think they're so special to me because they always help me out. They always encourage me in whatever I do. They come to my sports events. They come to achievements that I make all the time. They come to my job. They make me feel like they love me.
God has blessed our students with such wonderful grandparents. We are very thankful that so many were able to come.
Last Thursday, many Lakeside students were helping save lives. These superheroes didn't use their strength, but they were willing to donate their blood. Alyssa Graysons tells us more about the blood drive.
On Thursday, we did a blood drive, so I, in the morning, went and checked in, and then they checked our blood pressure and iron levels and got all of our information. And then once that was good, they led us to drink some water and get some snacks before we donated. Then we went to a chair and they drew our blood, and it was really fast. It was only 5 minutes, and then we just sat, ate snacks, and then we were good. This was the first time I donated blood. I wanted to donate blood just to help people. It was something to do, and it was a great opportunity to do it.
Thank you to all the students that donated blood. And now, over to sports.
Hello, I'm Keegan Lundgren.
And I'm Angelina Petrovich. Welcome to the fastest news in sports. We cover all of Lakeside sports in less than 2 minutes. On Friday of last week, the Warriors' 5th-seeded boys basketball team took on the 4th-seeded team from Waupun. Lakeside's Wes Ron produced 28 points and 18 rebounds to lead the Warriors to a 73-54 win in the regional semifinal. In the second half, Ron reached the 1,000-point mark of his high school career.
On Saturday, the boys team moved on to the regional finals against the Lake Mills L-Cats. The L-Cats led 33-19 at the half. The Warriors surged at the start of the second half with a dunk by Wes Ron and a steal from Easton Wolfram. Brecken Jimenez also helped in the charge with 8 points in the second half. In the end, Lake Mills proved to be too much and won 61-47. Congratulations to the boys team on a successful 17-9 season despite many injuries. And that's time.
Besides basketball, there was also bowling going on this past weekend. Garrett Parkhurst and Caleb Studnicov were participating in the state bowling tournament.
Please join me in wishing good luck and good bowling to qualify.
Out of the top 110 bowlers in the state, Garrett finished 39th with a score of 653 for 3 games, and Caleb finished 71st with a score of 599 for 3 games. Congratulations to both of you. Now it's teacher time.
Teacher time, teacher time, teacher time with Molly Kalma.
I have to do a whole bunch of push-ups and I don't even know how to do one. Let's go ask a teacher who makes their students do push-ups for fun.
All right. What do you want to know, Molly?
What is one of your best stories of something that's happened to you?
I was on a Discover America trip in Arizona with a group of 7th graders from St. Marcus. And there were about 40 kids, and we were in Tucson. And while we were there, a buddy of mine, John Bakke, and I were chaperones. And in the midst of this 10-day excursion, we spent 2 days in Tucson. Him and I got handcuffed by the police at gunpoint for what ended up being somewhat of a mistake. It was nothing that we did, but there was an intruder on the property and they thought it was us. So they cuffed us and they stuffed us, and had a pretty good laugh about it. But that's a story, a fun story to talk about.
Why do you have students do push-ups in your class?
They appear to have energy they need to burn in order to help pay more attention in my class. And push-ups is a healthy way to get that across, a simple, easy way to get that across. And hey, we get more fit as a result.
What is the craziest thing that has happened in your classroom since being at Lakeside?
One of the more fun things that I enjoy, I don't know, it seems to be enjoyable, is birthdays in my classroom. Not exactly crazy, but I love having kids stand up and sing a happy birthday to them. It's even better when they bring a treat along that day and we get to have treats. That's pretty fun.
What were you doing before you took the call to Lakeside?
I taught for many years, and then I actually was in retirement planning for a short period of time. And right before I came to Lakeside, I was in construction.
Mr. Leckwee, how did you know you wanted to become a teacher?
Had an experience while at Lakeside that I got to go to St. Paul's grade school, and I was with another teacher and I got to observe for a day and thought it was a ton of fun. I'd always kind of been thinking about becoming a teacher, but it was a ton of fun, and that was my motivator. It happened my senior year. It motivated me to go to Martin Luther College.
What is your favorite thing about teaching freshmen?
There's a lot of laughs each day. I have a lot of laughs, and their reactions to things is a ton of fun. But yeah, I would say their personalities and the joy they bring in the classroom.
And now for the speed round. Favorite hobby?
Hunting.
Shoe size?
13.
Name a hidden talent of yours.
I have no hidden talents.
Most push-ups you have done at one time.
124.
Dream vacation destination.
Greece.
Do you want to be a cowboy?
More than anything.
Many students and faculty enjoy playing basketball on intramural teams during the winter. This year, the faculty team made it to the championship game. The game was played in front of the entire student body last Friday. Isaiah Sampson tells us more.
We had intramural teams, I guess. We had 10 of them, and it was to play for the championship on last week, Friday, I guess. And we played 8 teams, and then after that there's a championship game, and that got an earlier release so we could play against the teachers. I think the lead up to it was pretty easy. I mean, there was a few teams that were pretty good, but other than that, we kind of dominated. Marcus's team was probably our best matchup. We won against them with 4 points. Leading up to the game, I was a little nervous just because we're playing in front of everybody. But going into it and, you know, shooting around it, I didn't feel as nervous. And then playing against the teachers is always fun, especially against Mr. V. Especially last year, he was always on my case about it. So I had to show him this year that I was better than him. Up until the end of the game where I was pretty tired, I think I played a pretty good game. I mean, we played a pretty hard game, but it ended up in a tie, at least I think, but everybody else said the teachers won, but I think it ended in a tie. It's pretty fun. I mean, you can just have a good time with your friends, and I mean, you get to play against the teachers. Who doesn't want to play against the teachers? All I gotta say is I don't think Mr. V can guard me.
I can guard him. Just ask him about last year.
A new team has been added to Lakeside. This is the trap shooting team. Jack Holzman gives us the inside scoop.
Yeah, so on Saturday we had our first trap shooting practice for the new club that Lakeside's creating. So there are about 14 or 15 people who showed up, and so we all got registered with the Deerfield Rod and Gun Club and then just did a 50-round shoot for that day. One round is 25 birds, so you get up and there's 5 different stations from like left to right, and so you shoot 5 birds at each station. So there's a call machine, so you call, usually people say like pull or whatnot. So you pull and then it throws up the bird and then you just shoot it. The first round I got like 23 out of 25, and then the second round was a little rough. So this is my first time shooting trap for like a club or a team. And so I decided to do it because I'm into like hunting and fishing and whatnot, and I figured this is pretty close to that. And it was a lot of fun to go out. In the competitions, it's the same as practice pretty much, where we shoot at Deerfield, but then we just send our scores in for like conference. So you bring your own equipment, like your own gun, you bring shells for that day, but they provide the birds, but you gotta pay for them.
Last week, Lakeside's JV and varsity math team headed to Cambridge High School for the Capital Conference Math Meet. Congratulations to both the JV and varsity math teams for their first place finish.
The Engineering Essentials class has demonstrated their innovation in a recent activity by designing and building mechanical drawbridges. Ella Holzman gives us the details.
So we had to create a gate for a zoo that would allow animals to go in and out, and they had to be able to manually crank it, but they also had to have like a motor to open it. So at first we started coming up with a few ideas, and then we went on Tinkercad and made some digital designs. And then once we had the digital designs, then we started to make them out of X components, and then we started to critique our build until we got it to where we wanted it. So our first idea actually was to lower the gate into the ground, but then we decided on the drawbridge because it uses a lot less pieces, so it would be cheaper and it's more efficient. So we had to sell this bridge to Ms. Schomer because she was our main customer, and so we had to come up with a list of things that our bridge could do and why she should buy it. Engineering is really fun because we get to solve problems and it makes you think out of the box, and it's really fun to work with the other kids.
This past weekend, members of Lakeside's band headed to Martin Luther College in New Ulm, Minnesota for the Wells National Band Fest. Elijah Vick gives us the details.
So we left period 9 on Thursday. We drove like 6 hours to get up to MLC. It was just Lakeside in a van. The next morning, on Friday morning, instead of going to classes, we got to go and do a bunch of rehearsals. A little bit of breaks in between, but not too much. And so I think we ended the first day with about 8 hours of rehearsing. So to kind of unwind after all of that rehearsing at the end of the day, they let us go down to the Betty Cohn Field House, which is something kind of new. And so it was really fun. They just had a lot of games set up, and so I was able to play some cornhole, just unwind, have a good time with some of my friends from other schools. So then we do it all again the next morning, get some chapel, and then the next day was a lot more rehearsing, even more than the last. And that was completely necessary because we only have 2 days of rehearsals before we can go off to a concert. The next day was Sunday, and so we went to church in the morning with your host families, and then all of a sudden we're off into concert. And so we ran like an hour-and-a-half concert, I think it was. We had quite a few pieces. I can't remember the exact number of them, but they were really cool. I mean, my favorite was Luminescence or Foundations, which were the openings and closing pieces. I thought they were really cool. I thought the style that they had was really awesome. I think the concert went really well. You're surrounded by so many good people. If you accidentally miss a beat, the person next to you won't, which is one of those beautiful things because you're able to actually like build off of each other so well. At National Band Fest, this is like the cream of the crop from every single band across the entire nation. It is truly something to be marveled at. It's insane the amount of talent that is in that room at once, and then having somebody like Dr. Worster able to come and just be our clinician for the day it was just an amazing weekend, and it makes me happy because most of those people are going to MLC too, and I'll just be up at MLC with Dr. Worster next year, so.
Taking the next 2 weeks off for spring break. We will see you again in April. And now, you're in the loop. I'm Natalie Pop.
And I'm John Loest. Thank you for watching, and of course, God bless.